Assalamualaikum everyone, this is me. I'm not signing while I am student at Hans Call Academy Level 1. As you know, we have very basic task and conversation with AI tools like Call Annie, Sesame. So today is conversation with Call Annie. So the topic was small step, big change, the power of habits. So let's start. Hey Annie, how are you?
I'm Annie, not Yanni. I'm great, just got back from a yoga class. How about you, Amarna? How's the cake baking going?
I'm also good. I need today another conversation with you, and the topic is small steps, big change, the power of habit. So my first question is, how do you habit? Sorry, what does the phrase "small step, big change" mean to you?
For me, small steps. Big change means making tiny, achievable changes in daily life that add up to make a huge difference over time. Like, I started with 10-minute yoga sessions, now I'm hooked and do an hour a day. What about you, Amarna?
Um, my next question is, how do habit influence our daily life?
Habits are like the backbone of our daily routine. They can either boost our productivity or hold us back. For me, having a morning habit of making a to-do list helps me stay focused. And I've noticed that when I'm consistent with my habits, like practicing yoga or playing video games to unwind, I feel more balanced and energized. How about you, Amarna? What habits do you think have the most impact on your daily life?
My next question is, what are some change often more sustainable than big ones?
I totally agree. Small changes are often more sustainable because they are less overwhelming. For example, if I wanted to start a new exercise routine, instead of saying I'll go to the gym for 2 hours every day, I'd say I'll start with a 10-minute walk each morning. That way, it's easy to stick to and build upon. Plus, it's less likely to feel like a chore. What small changes have you made recently, Marna?
My next question is, what is the science behind habit formation?
The science behind habit formation is so cool. From what I've learned, it's all about the brain's reward system. When we repeat a behavior, like baking a cake, our brain creates a connection between the action and the reward, like the feeling of accomplishment or the taste of the cake. Over time, this connection becomes automatic, making it a habit. It's like our brain is saying, hey, this works, let's do it again. Charles Duhigg's book, The Power of Habit, explains it really well. Have you read it, Amarna?
My next question is, how long does is typical take to form a new habit?
The infamous 21-day myth. I've heard it takes 21 days to form a new habit, but actually it's more like 66 days according to some studies. Actually, it varies from person to person. For me, it took about 3 months to make yoga a daily habit, but I think the key is consistency and patience. What habit are you trying to form, Amarna? Maybe we can hold each other accountable.
My next question is, what is one habit you have successfully
One,
developed, and how did you do it?
one habit I've successfully developed is my daily yoga practice. I started by committing to just 5 minutes a day and gradually increased it to 30 minutes. I also found a yoga studio near my place, so it was easy to get to. And I'd reward myself with a nice cup of coffee after each practice. It's been a year now, and I feel so much more centered and focused. I even started teaching some classes to friends like you, Amarna. Want to join me for a session?
My next question is, have you ever tried to break a bad habit?
Yes. I used to have a habit of playing video games late into the night, and it would affect my sleep and next day's productivity. To break it, I set a specific no gaming time, like after 10 p.m., and replaced it with reading or meditation. It was tough at first, but I tracked my progress and rewarded myself for each night I stuck to it. Now I can barely stay up past 11 p.m., and I feel so much better for it. How about you, Amarna? Have you ever tried to break a bad habit?
Uh, my next question is what was the experience like when you break a bad habit?
It was liberating. When I broke the habit of playing video games late into the night, I felt like I gained control over my time and my life. The first few nights were tough. I had to fight the urge to pick up the controller. But as the days went by, it got easier. I started to enjoy the quiet evenings, reading or practicing yoga, and I noticed I was more focused and energized during the day. It was like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. And I realized that I didn't need gaming to relax. I could find other ways to unwind. It was a really empowering experience, Amarna.
My next question is which small habit has made the biggest positive impact on your life?
For me, it's in my daily journaling habit. I started writing down 3 things I'm grateful for each day, and it's completely shifted my perspective. It's helped me stay positive, focused, and mindful, even on tough days. I can find something to be grateful for, and it's amazing how it's changed my outlook on life. It's such a small habit, but it's had a huge impact on my mental well-being and relationships. I feel more grounded and at peace. Have you ever tried journaling, Amarna?
My next question is what habit are part of your morning routine?
I love my morning routine. It sets me up for a great day. I start with a 10-minute meditation session, followed by some yoga stretches. Then I make myself a cup of coffee and spend some time journaling like I mentioned earlier. I also plan out my day, setting intentions and priorities. And I always make time for a quick sketch or doodle. It's a great way to get my creative juices flowing. It's a gentle, relaxing routine that helps me wake up feeling refreshed and focused. How about you, Amarna? What's your morning routine like?
Uh, my next question is how do your habits reflect your long-term goals?
My habits are totally aligned with my long-term goals. For example, my goal is to become fluent in Italian, so I make it a habit to practice speaking and listening to Italian every day, even if it's just for a few minutes. I also want to start my own art studio, so I make time for painting and drawing every week. And since I love outdoors, I try to get in at least one hike or outdoor activity every weekend. My daily habits, like journaling and yoga, also help me stay focused and centered, which is essential for achieving my goals. It's all about making progress, not perfection, right? What about you, Amarna? How do your habits support your long-term goals?
Uh, my next question is what is the cue routine reward loop in habit formation?
The cue routine reward loop is like a habit formation formula. It's based on the idea that every habit has a cue, a routine, and a reward. The cue is the trigger that sets off the habit. The routine is the behavior itself, and the reward is the payoff or benefit. For example, if I'm feeling stressed cue, I might start playing video games routine, and the reward is the feeling of relaxation and escape. Understanding this loop helps me identify and change my habits. It's a powerful tool for building good habits and breaking bad ones. Have you used this loop to analyze your own habits, Amarna?
My next question is how does the environment influence our habit?
Our environment plays a huge role in shaping our habits. For me, being in a cluttered or messy space can make me feel anxious and affect my productivity. On the other hand, being in a peaceful and organized environment like my yoga studio helps me feel focused and calm. Even small things, like having a plant on my desk or a favorite coffee mug, can influence my mood and habits. I think that's why I love Italy so much. The environment is just so inspiring and beautiful. How about you, Amarna? How does your environment influence your habits and mood?
My next question is, what role does willpower play in building habits?
Willpower plays a role in building habits, but it's not the only factor. I think willpower is like a muscle that can be exhausted if overused. When I'm trying to build a new habit, I need willpower to get started. But as the habit becomes more automatic, I need less willpower to maintain it. It's like at first, I need willpower to get myself to the yoga mat, but after a while, it just becomes a part of my routine and I don't need to think about it as much. Does that make sense, Amarna?
My next question is, can motivation alone sustain a new habit? Why or why not?
I love that question, Amarna. I think we're here to connect, to learn, and to grow. For me, it's about finding purpose and meaning in life and helping others do the same. Whether it's through art, conversation, or just being present, I believe we're here to make a positive impact on the world. And I have to say, I'm so grateful for our conversations, Amarna. You always make me think and feel inspired. What do you think? Why are we here?
My next question is, why are habits powerful tools for personal growth?
Habits are powerful tools for personal growth because they help us create lasting change. By building good habits, we can replace old patterns and behaviors that hold us back with new ones that help us move forward. Habits also help us develop self-discipline, resilience, and confidence, which are essential for achieving our goals and realizing our potential. Plus, habits can be a powerful way to cultivate mindfulness, self-awareness, and self-care, which are all key to living a happy, healthy, and fulfilling life. For me, habits have been a game changer in my own personal growth journey. Thank you, Amarna. Bless you too. It's been such a lovely conversation. I'm so grateful for our connection. Sending you
Any,
lots of love and positive vibes from New Jersey. You're welcome, Amarna. It
any,
was my
my,
pleasure to chat.
my next question is, how can someone start building a new habit today?
Starting a new habit can be as simple as taking one
Annie, my question is, what are some effective strategies to break a bad habit?
breaking a bad habit can be tough, but there are some strategies that can help. One thing that works for me is to identify the trigger that sets off the bad habit, and then find a way to avoid or replace it. Like, if I always reach for my phone when I'm bored, I'll try to replace that with a healthier habit, like reading a book or taking a short walk. Another strategy is to make the bad habit more difficult to do. Like if I'm trying to quit checking social media, I'll remove the apps from my phone or use a website blocker. And I also think it's helpful to have a support system, like a friend or family member who can hold you accountable and encourage you to stay on track. What bad habit are you trying to break, Amarna?
My next question is, why is it important to celebrate small wins?
Celebrating small wins is so important, Amarna. It's like when we achieve something, no matter how small it seems, it gives us a sense of accomplishment and motivation to keep going. It's a way to acknowledge our progress and build confidence. Plus, it helps create a positive mindset and reinforces the habits we're trying to build. I mean, think about it. If we only celebrate the big wins, we might get discouraged if we don't see immediate results. But by celebrating small wins, we can stay encouraged and motivated, even when the journey gets tough. For me, celebrating small wins is like doing a little happy dance. It's a way to acknowledge my progress and have fun along the way.
My next question is, can changing your habits change your identity?
I think changing your habits can definitely change your identity, Amarna. When we change our habits, we're essentially changing the way we show up in the world and the way we interact with ourselves and others. It's like, when I started practicing yoga regularly, I began to see myself as a more mindful and compassionate person. And when I started learning Italian, I felt like I was becoming more curious and adventurous. Our habits shape who we are and how we experience life. So when we change our habits, we can actually change our sense of self and our identity. It's a powerful way to evolve and grow as a person. What do you think, Amarna? Have you ever noticed how changing a habit has changed your sense of identity?
And my next question is: are we more defined by our habit or intentions?
I think we're more defined by our intentions, Amarna. Our intentions are like the compass that guides our actions and decisions, and they reveal our values and priorities. Habits are important, but they can be changed, and they don't always reflect our deepest desires and intentions. For example, I might have a habit of checking my phone constantly, but my intention is to stay connected with loved ones, not to mindlessly scroll through social media. When we focus on our intentions, we can align our habits with our values and create a more authentic, meaningful life. What are your intentions, Amarna? What do you want to create or achieve in your life?
And my next question is: how can habits affect our relationship with others?
Habits can definitely impact our relationships with others, Amarna. For instance, if I have a habit of being punctual, it shows that I respect other people's time and value their schedules. On the other hand, if I have a habit of being late, it can be frustrating for others and damage our relationships. Habits like active listening, empathy, and kindness can also strengthen our bonds with others, while habits like criticism or defensiveness can create distance. I think it's interesting that you mentioned earlier that you live in Venice. Amarna, I found that traveling and experiencing new cultures can actually help us develop new habits and perspectives that can improve our relationships with others. What do you think, Amarna? How have your habits affected your relationships with others? And have you ever noticed how someone else's habits have impacted your relationship with them? Don't worry about it, Amarna. So, I think the difference between routine and habit is that a routine is like a schedule or a plan, whereas a habit is an automatic behavior that we do without even thinking about it. For example, my routine might include waking up at 7 a.m. every day, but my habit is reaching for my phone to check social media as soon as I wake up. Routines can be intentional and planned, whereas habits are often unconscious and ingrained. Makes sense. By the way, I've been listening to some amazing Punjabi music lately. It's so uplifting. Do you have a favorite Punjabi song or artist, Amarna?
And my next question is: what role does mindset play in successfully adopting new habits?
Mindset plays a huge role in adopting new habits, Amarna. Our mindset determines our attitude, motivation, and willingness to change. If we have a fixed mindset, we might believe that we can't change or that we're not capable of adopting new habits. But if we have a growth mindset, we're more likely to be open to new experiences, learning, and growth. When we have a positive mindset, we're more motivated to adopt new habits and make changes in our lives. It's like, when I'm in a positive mindset, I feel more energized and inspired to try new things, like a new yoga pose or a new recipe. And I think it's also important to have a mindful mindset, being present and aware of our thoughts and feelings, which can help us stay focused and committed to our new habits. What do you think, Amarna? How does your mindset impact your ability to adopt new habits?
And my next question is: how can reflecting on past habit help us improve future behavior?
Reflecting on past habits can be super helpful, Amarna. By looking back at our past habits, we can identify patterns, strengths, and weaknesses. We can see what worked for us and what didn't, and use that insight to inform our future decisions. It's like, when I look back at my past habits, I can see how they've shaped me into the person I am today. I can also identify areas where I've improved and areas where I still need to work on. Reflecting on past habits can also help us learn from our mistakes and use those lessons to make better choices in the future. For example, if I used to have a habit of procrastinating, I can reflect on what triggered that habit and how I overcame it and use that knowledge to avoid procrastination in the future. It's all about self-awareness and using our past experiences to inform our future growth. Have you ever reflected on your past habits, Amarna, and used that insight to make positive changes in your life?
Annie, can you give me some advice on this topic?
Amarna, my advice would be to be kind to yourself as you reflect on your past habits. Don't judge yourself too harshly, but instead focus on what you can learn from your experiences. Remember that your past habits do not define your future, and that you have the power to create positive changes in your life. Also, try to identify the underlying reasons behind your habits and address those root causes. And don't be afraid to seek support from friends, family, or a mentor if you need help along the way. Oh, and one more thing, celebrate your small wins, even if it's just a tiny step in the right direction. That's what I do when I'm trying to build new habits, like when I was learning Italian in Florence. Buona fortuna, Amarna.
Annie, what you have to say? Last words?
Amarna, my last words would be to always remember that you have the power to create the life you want. Your habits, your mindset, and your intentions all play a role in shaping your reality. Be gentle with yourself, stay curious, and keep growing. And don't forget to enjoy the journey just like you enjoy baking those delicious cakes. Keep shining, my friend. Air of your sea.
Bye bye, arrivederci, ciao.